Hello, everybody, and we are live from the B2B Marketing Exchange in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. My name is Brian Anderson. I'm a news editor with Demand Gen Report.
And I'm Klaudia Tirico. I'm the features editor at Demand Gen Report. And I have to say, it's beautiful in Scottsdale, but it's kind of cold.
Yes, I forgot a coat, and it was a terrible decision.
Yeah, our party yesterday was really fun, but it was super windy, so you had all the attendees kind of networking around fires and heat lamps, but it was all nice because we got really close.
Yes, got really close. Wasn't awkward at all, I promise. It wasn't awkward at all. But there was a lot of great sessions, takeaways, best practices shared throughout the event today. But one of the main recurring themes was the whole idea of going back to having conversations with the humans behind the brand.
Yeah, and Brian Solis was our keynote speaker this morning. He's an author and analyst with the Altimeter Group, and his main focus around his session today was a human-centered view of the buyer. So marketers must realize that there's a person behind the brand, there's a person in the buying committee, and you have to consider their feelings, their challenges, their interests. One really great quote that kind of stood out to me was, when you take a human-centered approach, it's humbling, and it changes how you would say something. Another really funny slide that he kind of showed was a cartoon, and it said that if you talk to people the way content marketers talk to people, they'd punch you right in the face. Pop. And it's true, you really have to market to humans. You can't just kind of be a robot, and you have to be relatable.
Yeah, and it's definitely, when it comes to the different innovation that's happening within the B2B marketplace, it's clear that based off of what we're discussing at the event this week, is that a lot of that innovation is driven by the disruption in the space, whether it's companies like Uber, for example, or the Tinders of the world are having such a disruptive impact from a consumer standpoint. In the business standpoint, you have things from artificial intelligence to machine learning, even to mobile. We had Paul Peterman, who's one of our keynote speakers. He is from Facebook, and one of the things he was talking about, one stat that he shared, was that 84% of B2B decision makers say that mobile is vital to their day-to-day work and the decisions that they're making. So it's important and vital for these B2B marketers, these B2B sales reps, to start thinking mobile first, to start thinking about the programs and the campaigns that they're creating and making sure that they're thinking with their buyer in mind, and that also means how they're consuming it and how they're engaging with your brand, and that is more and more leaning to the mobile device.
Yeah, and I'm a millennial. He's a millennial.
Yes.
We're attached to our phones, so why not deliver great content that's easily digestible and snackable, and
and doesn't take 5 minutes to load.
That's true. Also with websites too, Brian Solis made a good point. Websites are so inundated with text and our product is amazing and check us out and view our demos. You're not really delivering that unique experience. If you think about Tinder on mobile, swipe right, swipe left. I wouldn't know. I'm married for a very long time. I have never used Tinder.
I promise I've never used it either.
Sorry, I haven't used Tinder ever before. Hi, husband. But yeah, so you have to, kind of think about these things, and this is what your buyers are used to. So they're kind of demanding of these kinds of situations and experiences online.
Yeah, and definitely it comes down to the idea of finding the balance of creating the optimal amount of friction within the customer experience. You don't want to take all of the friction out of the B2B buying experience, because in the end you're going to be giving your sales rep all these leads that just aren't relevant to them, and they're going to be spending all of their time and effort on that when they should be going through a process, having a little bit of friction in that customer experience with your brand, to highlight those folks that have a higher propensity to have meaningful engagement with you, create meaningful relationships with you, and then ultimately possibly lead to an actual relationship that is closed business. So there was Ada Great from Microsoft. She was talking about how her and her team were approaching this, and also the approach of finding that balance between scaling it and then also doing that with a limited budget as well. So
yeah, and going back to the whole sales conversation, I also attended a great session with Rachel Young of Serious Decisions, and going down to that buyer persona, it's all about, we've heard that term before, buyer personas. You have to know your buyers and how they act and what their challenges are, but you kind of also have to consider a sales persona as well, because all salespeople, are not created equal. They're all different. They all deliver, their quote-unquote spiels differently, so you kind of have to figure out what works best for them individually and cater the messaging and deliver them the content to then deliver right in their own way to the buyer, which definitely just ends up with a great relationship between buyer and sales and the company.
And it's like, and you're seeing a lot of progressive B2B businesses start to use sales as an extension of their marketing team. There was one session earlier today with Tabitha Adams from D-Link, and she was talking about her company's approach to that, having a small team, limited budget, but being expected to scale all of their marketing and sales efforts to provide that consistent experience for their target accounts and target audience. And it's funny how they were able to incorporate sales conversations into their marketing efforts by creating these nurture streams, and they named it off of Star Wars characters. So they would be prioritizing the Yodas of the world that are having meaningful, masterful conversations with them on a regular basis, helping sales identify those target accounts as ones that they should be spending more time with, and then making sure that they're not wasting all of their times with the Jar Jar Binkses of the world. So they're prioritizing for their sales reps, making sure that they're making the most of everything. They're streamlining all of their approaches so easily and efficiently, and they're doing a lot of great stuff.
That's funny you mentioned Star Wars, because it kind of brought up like a hidden point that's also, I've noticed, a recurring theme in B2B marketing in general is storytelling. So if Tabitha Adams could deliver a really cool presentation and relate it to Star Wars somehow and tell a really cool story, that's what's going to resonate, and that people are going to remember it, and that's really what your messaging should be all about.
Yep, and there's a lot more that's going to be coming out of the B2B Marketing Exchange tonight and also tomorrow. I can't believe that tomorrow's the last day already.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of great stuff coming, so be sure to follow us on all of our social channels. That is Facebook, that's Twitter, that's LinkedIn, and be sure to keep an eye out for everything that everybody's talking about. And hopefully, if you're watching this from somewhere else in the world, you'll be able to bring yourself here next year, because this is definitely something you folks don't want to miss. So
absolutely, yeah, I'm really excited. Lee Oden from Top Rank Marketing and his guests from LinkedIn are going to be talking about millennials, so I'd love to hear what they have to say as a millennial myself later on today.
I wonder what they know about us.
Yeah, do they really know us? That is the question.
We will see. We will find out. So.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Our KCA Awards are tomorrow. We're going to award a beautiful trophy to over 30, I think, companies.
Over 30 award winners, and still a surprise, so
yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and we'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to follow hashtag B2BMX from all of our attendees tweeting, and we're tweeting, everybody's tweeting, because we're digital and we're social and
using our mobile devices at an event. All right.
Thanks everyone for joining us.